So with reviews of 4 of these things so far, it's safe to say that I've been hating the 86 Constructicons, which is interesting because mostly it's been a pretty good year for the Transformers. I've liked and recommended the vast majority of what I picked up in 2025. But bluntly, the 86 Constructicons have been insulting. When they aren't just the exact same figures as the CW ones, they're bad reimaginings of the same concepts. When they aren't bad reimaginings of the same concepts, then they are insultingly simple and uninspired. And so many people don't get why this offends me. And I tried time and again to explain why, but still very few people seem to get it. So let me make one more attempt. I know it's been kind of annoying to hear me go over this subject over and over. So I'm going to try it a little bit of a new way this time. Think of it like this. Imagine that there's a video game from a decade ago that wasn't very good in the first place, and now when you go to buy it for download on the online store, for some reason it's still full price. Isn't that always insulting? Don't we all hate that? The price should have come down by now, right? But no, this isn't even that positive a scenario. So imagine that, but they cut out about half the content and they are charging a third more than ever, but they justify it by saying, well, we put in a new lighting engine, so now it's better than ever and we deserve more for it. The 86 Constructicons have been at best side grades on the Combiner Wars Devastator set. However, they are half the size, inexcusably bad in some areas for the modern era, and they cost more. So instead of being angry at me for not liking these, maybe you should tell me why I'm supposed to be happy with them, and not just go, nuh-uh, they're new molds because they changed one thing about them, and therefore that justifies everything. Ocarina of Time was not a new game just because they put it on the 3DS and gave all of the models more detailed textures. Anyways, I digress. It's 86 Mixmaster. And holy shit, wait, I actually like this one? I actually really like this one? But first, your likes! Please give, and maybe subscribe. But yeah, what can I say about this? Is it too expensive? Yes, this is absolutely a deluxe being sold as a Voyager, but it's actually good. Might have something to do with the fact that it's one of the only 2 completely new designs in this set. But this is the first instance where the figure not only feels good, but it also looks good, unlike the Scrapper, or Crapper, and it looks like it's supposed to. There are some visual issues, like the way that the fist holes don't go all the way through, just making this look cheaper than hell, and it makes certain accessories look awkward in his mitts. The arms are weirdly skinny and a bit overlong, and I mildly hate the feet. The way they're built makes it look like he's constantly curling his toes, but those are all minor nitpicks. There are some things that maybe should bother me, but don't, like the shelf over his head is supposed to be only as wide as his helmet, but honestly, I've always thought that it looked a little dumb like that, so I'm okay with this. And I do just have to say that thank God this one wasn't copied from the CW team, because does literally anyone know what they were thinking with that? Like, that thing seems to have existed just to tell us to go fuck ourselves. Like, oh yeah, we are going to make everyone pretty accurate, with some members having a few unfortunate compromises out of necessity, except for Mixmaster, who we are going to give the completely wrong alt mode that forms Devastator's leg, but upside down, just to spite you all. Though I do worry that the only reason that they didn't mold copy that bitch too is just because they knew that if they did, all the people who defend this set as something new wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Pun intended. But in any instance, it ultimately gave us this thing, which does successfully, for the first time, carry the vibe of the character properly, just looking better than basically everyone else on his team. Scrapper was knobbly and weird, Hook was brutally compromised, both having so much sacrifice for the combined mode, and having the designer not even bother trying to make them look like they were supposed to. Longhaul at least looked decent, but then you had Bone Crusher, who looked like he crushed bones by laying on people because he needs to lay off the butter, before he eats so much of it that he becomes butter. So the fact that this looks like himself really just comes across like a miracle in these circumstances. It really makes it feel like this is the first time they really tried with any of these. Maybe Longhaul counts too, but he was more simple than most core classes, so that makes me a bit less charitable. His quality control seems pretty good too. He doesn't feel as well put together as the Scrapper, but that was literally the only good part of that whole thing, where this just feels like it's on the better side of normal. The slightly looser tolerances do lead to one very good thing though. Behold! I cannot tell you just how happy this makes me, because it agrees with me. So many people have been like, you can't have a waist swivel on these figures because the ankle joint for the combined mode would break it since it needs to be ultra strong, idiot. Really, because this isn't ultra strong in any way, and it proves me right. And to be clear, I have combined the whole set already, and this joint holds perfectly fine without the slightest bit of failure in every pose I put Devastator in. So Scrapper had no business being 1/10 as tight as he was, and there is no physical way that a joint that is only as tight as the one on this Mixmaster would ever damage the waist swivel. I can move this with ease with my pinky. So anyone claiming that they had to get rid of the waist rotation so it wouldn't break because the ankle pivot needed to be so strong was lying, because they are addicted to Hasbro needing to be right, no matter what they do. If they did something stupid, it is correct, so we must come up with a reason to explain to everyone why their objectively dumb decision was correct, and then present that as fact to everyone. But no, the truth of the matter is that Hasbro got lazy and cheap, and this proves it. This thing doesn't have a waist. Longhaul didn't have a waist, even though that on both of these, there's no reason not to. They just didn't include one because that would be a few more cents per figure, and they wanted to wring every last penny out of us. The combined mode can support itself with ankle joints that you can move with only your little finger. So why is the waist still missing on a figure where you can do that? Hasbro is not your friend. Hasbro doesn't like you. They only want to give you as little as possible for your money. You are just a walking wallet to them that they are indignant that they have to please to get the cash out of. And nothing quite proves that like those shitty AI statues that they're pushing right now for $4 grand each. Stop trying to protect them and just treat them like what they are. Not your enemy, but more a greased up junkie who would steal the wiring out of your car if you let them. Man, I don't know if this video has anything even approaching the notion of being on track. Anyways, the head is good, though I'm not a huge fan of this rendition of it. Mixmaster is one of those characters whose head wasn't super consistent in the show, so this is a fair approximation of what it's supposed to look like, but Mixmaster is also supposed to be kind of a crazy dude with a lot of manic energy, and I don't think that this captures that vibe. Again, it's not a bad head, it's distinct and interesting, I just don't think it feels a ton like the guy. Though, maybe if they gave it a more crazed expression, I would change my tune on that. So, despite all the ranting I had for this, I do really like this mode. It looks a lot better than most of his compatriots, mostly getting the identity of the dude right, and it's got solid QC to boot. Plus, it agrees with me, and you can't even imagine how huge of a positive that is. As for accessories, he only comes with his gun. It is stupid. That is all. In all seriousness, it's just a really lame-looking laser needle. Easily the most sauceless of all the guns that comes with the 86 Constructicons. So in this category, it is unapologetically bad. This is a fairly sizable deluxe, but still a deluxe, being sold for over $40 once you include taxes, and it comes with a single tiny crappy gun. Guys, you do know that you could have given him the trumpets from the movie, right? Like, Scrapper sucked, but he did get a gun about as big as he was, but here, you couldn't give this guy any of the props that his team is famous for from the movie? Or is it that theory that you guys are in cahoots with DNA Designs intentionally sabotaging your own products so they can sell extremely overpriced upgrade kits almost instantaneously after the figure comes out actually onto something? Anyways, the articulation is not good. Head suffers from the typical frustrations that you get with the box noggin type of dudes, where it's hard to get at it to pose it, but once you do, it does have a good amount of range in a lot of directions and a full rotation. Shoulders pull less than a 90, but can be cheated for a little bit over it. Normal 90 elbows, and this I take real issue with, because it easily could have gone a lot further, but for some reason they actually built in stoppers preventing you from getting more range out of this. No wrists, no waist, hips are unimpeded in all directions, normal 90 knees, and feet with a pivot and some heel down. So yeah, this is really pretty bad on the posability front. He's missing a lot of joints, the joints he does have are all uninspiring, and there's almost an undercurrent of maliciousness about it. Like, why do his elbows have blocks built into them to stop them from going further? If they just didn't have these extra nodules of plastic, they could have bent a good bit deeper. The waist is missing for reasons that we are getting absolutely bullshit about, and there is just absolutely no excuse whatsoever for why this doesn't have wrists. Again, this is being sold as a Voyager. Where did the budget for this figure go? I still like this thing a good bit, but in this instance, it seems to be in spite of Hasbro taking us for granted and trying to fuck us over, because its other qualities are just good enough for me to do that. Then we get to the transformation, and it is just extremely simple, but also very satisfying. Basically, you just bend him at the knees in a slightly complex way, and shrug his shoulders up, and you're done. And yet, thanks to the clicks and snaps and just general nature of it, I find it very fun. I do appreciate them going the, well, not extra mile, but extra few feet of having the man titties fold up to hide his face completely. There is a much worse world where they didn't bother doing that, and he's just staring out of the bottom of the alt mode. When all's said and done, you get this. The only thing I have to complain about is this right here. This looks awkward. And that's about it for the negatives that I can say. I guess the drum doesn't spin. Oh well. Otherwise, this is, well, it's not perfect, because this has taken a good number of liberties to make it cooler and more realistic than the show model, but it does still completely capture the vibe of the show model. And shockingly, those liberties that they've taken have made it look cooler and more realistic. So it's not a complaint that this doesn't look perfect, it's just a fact, and it's better for it. I love this alt mode. It is inherently the best one in this particular set. It rolls pretty good too, though it's got like negative clearance from the ground, so it's going to get stuck on even the slightest of bumps. Once again, conversion into the combined mode is even stupider easier. Boom. He is a foot now. You can give him some more heels by folding this out, but it's like really stable even without that. And if you want him to use the ankle pivot, you can fold the arms back. And really, this is another reason why these elbows should have been deeper. Because if they could fold all the way up, they'd look a lot better. Like this, they're just jutting off the rear awkwardly. But what I can say is that this is easily the best looking component of the Gestalt mode. And honestly, the more stable foot of the two. Scrapper, despite the special lock that they built into the bucket to hold the thing together, and the super ultra omega over tight ankle pivot, actually has terrible stability in the combined mode and constantly splits apart. So this looks better, is way less difficult to handle, and does a better job at being a foot. So is this figure flawed? Yes, and it would be so much more forgivable at a deluxe price point. But I still really like it. It's got just enough going for it to balance out the negatives. Almost nothing about it is a home run, but it's also got those simple figure smiles. You handle it and you don't go, yeah, that's okay. You go, yeah, that's okay. It's got a good robot mode, it's got bad posability, and a single pretty lame looking accessory, but then it's got a super fun, simple transformation and a great alt mode. And if every other figure in this set had a combined mode that was at least this good, I'd be much happier with the Devastator. Like, why did every other member of this team not measure up to at least this very simple level? This isn't glorious, it's just nice. It's a solid B- figure. And I swear to God, if someone says, why do you hate everything? This figure is good in the comments, you do realize that even a C is a positive grade, right? I don't do that bullshit S ranking crap. Being a B is the second highest letter grade that I give, and it gets a B- because there's a good bit of this that's pretty bad, but it manages to rise above that and still be lots of fun. I swear, it's like people think that giving a figure anything other than a 10 out of 10 rating is you hating it. Anyways, let's thank a channel backer, and this time it's Reservoir with Iron Factory pipes. A funny little space truck thing that I think was based on the IDW version pre-pancaking. You'd think I wouldn't have to specify that, but I do know of at least one 3P version of him that is supposed to be post his introduction to a shoe. Anyways, this is a pretty adorable little guy with that trademark Iron Factory style. He probably looks cooler than Pipes ever has before while being small enough to fit in your pocket. A very fun, very cool pick. And before we go, it's time for the monthly well wishes, which are becoming less monthly as people haven't requested like any in the last 2. And this time I have, 1. Sorry for being probably too late for this one to matter since it was requested like 20 days ago, but Novapank wanted me to tell the teachers of Alberta, Canada to stay strong on your strike. What you put up with is not okay and you should not have to settle for it. So I just hope the best for you, and I hope that this small message can help any of you through this hardship. And to be clear guys, I'm shouting out Canadian teachers, but again, I am not Canadian. I don't know why people constantly think I'm from Canada. I am from California, 2 very different places that start with the letters CA. Anyways, that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please, share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.